Well, we're back here on Cody and Gold and excited to have our next guest join us. The Crown Royal Rig is going to be coming to Arrowhead this Sunday. And of course, be some familiar names coming to Kansas City. Tony Gonzalez, Taylor Rook's going to be out there to talk more about that. And obviously, this football season, it's nice to have a three-time Pro Bowler, former Chiefs quarterback, Alex Smith, join us here on 96.5 The Fan. So, Alex, it's great to have you on the show. It's been a little while.
Yeah, great to be back, fellas.
When you look at what you guys have going on this year for the Chiefs, like when you look at it from the outside, we always go back to when your team started 1-5. We've obviously
Yeah.
referenced that as a way of like getting back into the playoffs. What is it like in an Andy Reid led team
Yeah.
that isn't living up to expectation early versus some of the stuff we're used to out of Chiefs teams before?
Yeah, a couple things. I mean, obviously you said it. This is this is the last time that this team knew adversity this early in a season was definitely when I was lining up at quarterback, so it's been a while. I think a couple things, to think back to that 1-5 start, and I'd been around several head coaches at that point in my career. I'd had several bad starts to seasons before. And I just remember coming in, and I remember how calm Andy was. Like this, he wasn't panicked, right? And I remember how rare that was. I remember him telling everybody that he was going to be a little better, and the coaches are going to be a little better, and you guys need to prepare a little better, and we need to execute a little better. And it was just so much of like, um, you look around the league at all these teams that get off to bad starts, and we always see these drastic changes, right? People are fired, they lose their, quarterback changes, or they lose their play calling abilities. And I think people so often do kind of rash things when they're under that kind of pressure. And I remember thinking how unique it was that Andy just seemed to have such amazing resolve, and he was so kind of immune to it, and how impressive it was. And again, it made the difference, right? Like the momentum is obviously such a big thing in the NFL. And if you can get one win, right? If you can, one scoring drive and kind of get some momentum going, and then all of a sudden you stack them, it can obviously have a powerful effect. I think the other thing is I think about this, currently the core of this current Chiefs team that's been together obviously these last several years and had so much success. But they've had a lot of adversity too, right? Like this isn't the first time that they've faced adversity. This is a team that has had, faced a lot of adversity, especially offensively, the last couple years, and still found a way to overcome it. And I think they will lean on those experiences. And again, they haven't gone through this, 3 weeks into the season before, but it's still valuable experience that they will rely on, I think, to work through this.
I think that's one of those things that like stood out, like between like people talk about like the Andy or Travis thing, and we're always trying to decide, do we notice it more when they're not, things aren't going well? Is
Yeah.
it just kind of part of it? Like when you have guys like Travis, and you were around Travis forever,
Yeah.
it feels like he's like the ultimate, like, I want to win no matter what. It feels
Yes.
like the frustration shows with some of those guys, but I'm assuming in the building it's not like that. That like when they're sitting in like every day-to-day stuff is very normal.
Well, yeah, when you get back into your routine, for sure, you just can't like sit in that kind of experience. I mean, even certainly, I so appreciated Travis's like vulnerability and honesty, obviously after last week and the tough drop, right? That like kind of obviously was a defining play in that game. And it's a play obviously that listen, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest pass catching tight end of all time, right? But like he's not perfect. And I think true leadership, not just from him but Andy, like it shows up in the hard times, right? Like you don't really need it. You don't really need it when things are going well, right? Like when you're winning a bunch of ball games, like, there's not an opportunity for it. And I think for those guys to step up and to lead by example, um, when you're not having success, when things are hard, I think is even more important. I think that's again a valuable example for all the young guys on the team to look at. And again, I mean, is there a bigger star in the NFL right now? And for him, again, I think to be so real again, is such a valuable to have that on your team goes so far, right? I think for the entire roster to see that, like to him kind of taking accountability and know that he's going to be better and he'll do anything it takes to win, right? Like try this. Honestly, this guy doesn't care if he catches two balls and they win a football game and he has to block all day. He's going to be pumped.
Did you ever think, Alex, though, when you had Travis Kelce walk in the building, though, just that obviously not the off the field stuff, nobody could have, predicted this kind of stardom, if you will, but just on the field, what he's become and the success he's had. What did you think of him when he first showed up?
You don't want to know. Uh, no, I mean, listen, the organization was excited from day one. With being able to draft him, they were incredibly excited. I will never forget, like literally. I mean, I think the days after the draft, that we got a guy, right? We really think he's special and can be something. Now, listen, nobody can say that, like that he was going to become what he has, right? The career that he has. Again, it's just one of one, but I think you immediately knew. I knew how unique he was and in so many different ways, right? Like I remember very quickly realizing this unique skill set, right? The wiggle, the basketball moves that we see at tight end. Um, I think very quickly you could see that, listen, this guy played quarterback and he saw the big picture, right? Like he very quickly, you could tell that it was easy for him to handle, hey, like the different matchups he got, the different leverages he got, like what defenses were trying to do to take him away and how to counter it. Because I think he just had a great understanding of offense and defensive football. And then I think very quickly, obviously, what a unique teammate he was going to be, right? Again, he's so incredibly refreshing. He has so much fun. He has so much gratitude to be playing. And I think that's really unique. That can sound weird, but in a professional setting with expectations and contracts, and sometimes things can get heavy and hard. And Trav just always like every single day, just love being out there, grin on his face, telling jokes, having fun, dancing. And again, I think that this sounds like a small thing, but you appreciate it in the moments, and I know they'll be appreciating it even right now, right? Like again, a lot of pressure to win and get back to. No one wants to start 1-3, but again, I think to have that every day, that kind of attitude does really help.
Has it been crazy from the outside seeing all the other stuff? Him and
Oh,
Teo.
of course, yeah, of course. I mean, of course. Again, it just crazy, crazy. I mean, again, even Kansas City, such an amazing town. But listen, this isn't New York, right? Like this isn't there's some big giant market team. Again, it's the Midwest, and just such an amazing fan base, and just to become kind of certainly America's team to go on the run they've had, to see what Patrick's done, and then obviously Travis on top of that. Yeah, just never could have expected it.
Year to year, like we look at Andy's offenses in the last couple of years, they've been so much more like close to the line of scrimmage, not the deep pat, not the stuff we're used to, I guess, of
Yeah.
Andy Reid led offenses. Where do you think that's coming? Is it just offensive line play, or is that a huge part of it? Or, like how much does it change year to year for Andy? Because we've seen more of it this year. Like, where do you think some of that, the closer to the line of scrimmage stuff is coming
Yeah.
from
I
Patrick?
think that this is the amazing thing about Andy Reid is he just doesn't run a playbook. He just doesn't. There isn't like some playbook that he's running. And obviously, he grew up in the West Coast world, and they still use that terminology. But it is so fluid, year to year, about what his team does well, what's our talent, how can I put these guys in a situation to have success. And so you just continually see it morph. And listen, when the Tyreek trade happened, and obviously Travis is getting older, and those guys, you didn't have those two guys in their prime, and you weren't lighting up scoreboards and throwing for 50 touchdowns, right? Like that's just not sustainable. So it started to look different, right? Like how can we move the ball efficiently? And certainly you saw defenses, I think, even countering it, right? They weren't going to give up the big play anymore. And you saw all the shell defense. And so this was an offense that all of a sudden started to incorporate more RPO, right? You saw a lot of the underneath throws and gun runs. And Patrick, it was still a way for them to, obviously create some offense and move the football. And this became one of the most efficient offenses in football. It's weird to go from one of the most explosive to one of the most methodical. And again, I think that says not obviously a lot just about Andy, but the players there. And I think you're in a weird situation here these first 6 weeks, obviously without Rasheed. I think he's a guy that, listen, this is a phenomenal football player. I think that last year before his injury, you saw the season he was having, and obviously, to miss the first 6 weeks. But I think when he comes back, that will be a huge boost for this offense. Obviously, Worthy coming back hopefully will help there as well. But I think they're kind of sorting out that identity here these first few weeks. We saw a little more under center last week, right? Ryan
Yeah.
trying to run the football, get downhill. Thankfully, Patrick wasn't the leading rusher for the
Yeah.
first time of the season. But I think that's going to help with some of the play action pass and be able to push the ball downfield a little bit to some of these guys.
We're talking to Alex Smith here on Cody and Gold. You mentioned it right there. I was going to ask you just, we know Andy Reid never is going to be run first, nor should they when you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But how
Yeah.
important is it to get Isaiah Pacheco and get this running game going right now, especially as you said, when you're not having someone like Rashee Rice be a weapon for you?
Yeah, it's there's just so many variables. And listen, I I work with Rex Ryan on Sundays, and he's like constantly talking about running the football, and I'm just like, listen, if you had 15, you wouldn't be running
Right,
it,
right.
And it's like so hard not to put the ball in his hands every play. But I think again, there's a lot of things that mentioned obviously earlier that this young left side of the O line, right? Like in some ways, getting under center, running the football, letting those guys get downhill a little bit helps, especially depending on their matchup, right? Like that Giants D line they went against last week's a monster, right? And so, and is it a way all of a sudden to get some looks downfield and to play action and to move the pocket a little bit here and there? And so, again, I think do we see it again this next week? Right? Maybe, right? This is a Ravens team that's struggled to stop the run. Certainly saw obviously Detroit, get downhill on them in the run game as well. And so, will that be there? Again, we'll see. Again, I still think it's a work in progress. Obviously, Worthy coming back is a big addition, but I think the big one's when Rasheed can get back.
Feel must win for both of these teams, just
I
knowing
mean,
who they
listen,
typically are.
it's like so yeah, it's so crazy to say must win this early. Like this is a huge game. This is a big game for both teams. Um, again, but obviously one of these teams is going to be 1-3, which is crazy. But a big football game here, week 4, right? And again, I think both these teams' sense of urgency will be maxed out. Yes.
Before we let you go, Alex, also we see another young quarterback getting an opportunity this week. Jackson Dart gets the start now for the Giants. We all know how involved you were with Patrick,
Yeah.
and he gives you a ton of credit for his growth. I feel like, there's some people that feel like, sit a year is the path because of what you guys were able to do.
Yeah.
There's others that think, this is too early. What do you make as someone that was right in that feel around an organization that had drafted a young quarterback?
Well, yeah, and then even to go back to my year, I mean, I lived it. I started week 4. This feel like deja vu, right? Like this was I played a little bit week 3. Things weren't going well early, and then wham, you're starting. And I just, you know, the real question they should be asking, and this is what's unfortunate, is like, is Jackson ready? Right? Like and is the team ready around him, right? Like is it have we given him the best chance to go out there and have success? And instead, unfortunately, I feel like, listen, we didn't get off to a great start. We don't have any wins. Russ didn't play well last week, right? Like, let's just get him out there because of the pressure, because the fans were booing, because maybe the head coach is feeling pressure for his job. And that's just not how you should be making the decision, in my opinion, right? Should they sit 1 year? How many games? Like, I don't think there's an exact number. I do think there's a lot of value, though, in Jackson watching guys go out there and prepare and play. They have this guy named Jameis Winston who's also played well at times in this league, and I thought maybe it would be an opportunity for him to go play a few games, and for Jackson to sit and watch another guy do it. Um, I don't love doing it against the Chargers, right? You guys know this defense.
Very good.
This defense the last 2 years is a monster. It's one of the best in the NFL. And so uh, I'm not sure they've again are making decisions based on that. Like, how have we done everything possible for Jackson to have the best chance of success? It seems short-sighted. I love Jackson. This is a Salt Lake kid. His dad went to the University of Utah. I know him and his family. I'm obviously wishing him the best, and I hope I'm wrong on this. I hope he goes out there and crushes it. But it's hard. It's hard as a young quarterback in this league and to go play this early. But hopefully they'll put a good game plan together for him. I hope he goes out there and feels like he can just run the offense and not have to be anything extra, right? You don't need to do anything special. Just go run the offense, be yourself, and hopefully he's not feeling the pressure to go out there and do too much.
Before you get out of here, Alex, tell us one more time about what you're doing with Crown Royal. We know Tony
Yeah,
Gonzalez and
again,
Taylor Rooks will be at
yeah,
Arrowhead.
yep. For fans, again, partnering with Crown Royal, celebrating their 5th year as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, and the Crown Royal rig will be at Arrowhead this weekend for the huge matchup. Fans, come check it out. And there's a new edition called the Royal Seat, so fans will get a chance to win premium ticket upgrades, which is awesome. And again, obviously, there will be some cocktails there for anybody interested. But very cool. Obviously, I'm back to working on Sunday, so unfortunately won't be there. Fans will have to settle for this guy named Tony Gonzalez and Taylor Rooks. And they will be packing purple bags for our military, and fans will get a chance to come out and pack bags for them as well. It's a tradition that Crown Royal has been doing for a long time and is very, very cool. So again, fans come out. They'll be there. And again, can't wait for this game.
Awesome. Alex, really appreciate the time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.